I'm so excited to have you on today. You look beautiful. I love your hair.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, welcome to the Undone podcast. Again, I'm so thrilled to have you on today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. As you know, January 11th is Human Traffic Awareness Day. In January, the month of January, is Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Um, And just to give people a little clarity and a little background about human trafficking, it is the illegal trade of human beings through recruitment or abduction by means of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of labor, debt, bondage, or sexual exploitation. Globally, human trafficking is a $150 billion industry and continues to grow. Deja, I first became aware of your story at home in quarantine watching the Tamron Hall Show and saw you, and I was just moved to tears hearing your story, seeing you and your mom up there, and you just being so brave. I just saw you as this brave young woman who had went through something that could have destroyed most people. But you were up there, you were brave and you were strong and you were telling your story. And I believe that it was in hopes to help someone else. So, Deja, we're going to dive right into this. Are you okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So, I want to first go back to how this all started, like how this all began. How did you even meet your trafficker?
I met my trafficker on an online dating site.
Mhm.
Those POLs, tag, Facebook. I met mine on one of those social media handles.
Wow. And what place were you in at that time when you were on this dating site? Were you like looking for love? You were looking to like meet some people and explore. What space were you in?
I was in all those spaces. I was 17 at the time. I was very vulnerable and naive. I was looking for love. I was looking for a lot of things, a friend, something. I didn't, growing up, my childhood wasn't like the best. Of course, it was kind of cool having family around, but I wasn't the type of girl that had friends, boyfriends, things like that. I was bullied a lot. So I went to the online world to find those
Mm,
friends.
that's that. I think that that's good because you said that you were bullied. I was bullied in school too. We didn't have the online dating back then, but it was where you would probably date guys that weren't the best for you, right? Guys that, were not worthy of your time, but you settled for them because you were bullied and this person showed you some attention. So it was like, okay, I'll go with the one that's showing me some attention. What are some signs that parents should monitor or look for with their kids who may be at home right now in the pandemic and their kids are online a lot more than they usually would be because they're not in school? What should parents look for with their kids and being online, or even just their kids' behaviors as to how they feel and self-esteem wise? What should they be looking for?
Well, for one, you know your kid. I'm a
Mhm.
mom. I became a mom 5 years ago, and I know my son. And I know if anything changes, it's something that he's learned, something that he saw, been introduced to, and that's one of the signs to look for. If you notice that your child's personality and attitude is changing, you want to go and look on those social media accounts, see who they're talking to, who they're making friends with, and things like that. Especially on social media, because a lot of guys, you have women traffickers too, who pose themselves as normal people on there, and they a lot of times they expose themselves as pimps nowadays. They don't care to hide it. You can see money signs. They put a lot of money signs. Throwing their luxury around, their money and things like that. That's signs to look for. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, you can make money, like, but let's be real. Are you really making all of that money? You
Right.
know,
Let's really be real.
how are you
Exactly.
doing it? Parents want to look at that online. How is this person making all of this money and stuff? What are they doing? You know,
At what moment in your when you were being human trafficked, at what moment did you realize? Because it started off as like a relationship, right? Y'all were like dating, and it seemed like, okay, this is my boo. And then at what point do you feel like, okay, this isn't right? This is not right.
when I was disagreeing with things, because of course, you know, as a woman, you're not gonna feel comfortable with some sexual activities and stuff like that. A lot of things, when I started, you know, disagreeing and having an issue with stuff, that's when attitude came, anger,
Mm.
true color. My trafficker's true color started coming out. It wasn't, oh, we're in a relationship. It's love. It was love is out the window. There's no love in the game. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm in something serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was there, if you don't mind me asking, was there any physical abuse that you suffered? Did you suffer physical abuse?
I suffered a lot of physical abuse as well as other women that was with us. Yeah, we all suffered a great amount of abuse, verbal, mental, and physical.
Wow. Dasia, you're in this situation, and how long before you come to that point where you realize this isn't right? How long have you been in the relationship at that point?
A month, because
Wow.
I ended up in a sticky situation with my trafficker where I had to make a decision to take a charge for them or not. And
oh wow.
Yeah, and my young, dumb, and love behind took the charge, got out, and nothing changed. My trafficker, when I took the charge for him, he said he loved me and all those things. We were gonna do things differently when I got out, and when I got out, nothing changed, and instead it got worse. And I was like, okay, this is
wow,
it.
wow. So that's crazy. What survival instincts kicked in for you? Because I haven't met her, but I saw your mom on TV, and I have to believe that mama taught you some things to help you survive if you get into a situation where your back is up against the wall. What survival instincts did you lean on and resort to being in this environment that was new, and also an environment in which you began to know and realize that wasn't safe for you?
Surviving is like, a lot of people would say I suffer from Stockholm syndrome. If that's the word for it, I guess that's what I suffer from. But that was my way of surviving. I had to just be quiet and do what was told of me to do. That's how I survived through that. The less I argued, the less I suffered from being abused. The less I tried to call for help, the less I suffered from being abused and my family being threatened. I hate to say it, but it's like just sitting back and doing and just praying was the only thing that I could do to survive. Honestly.
Wow. And when, this is the Undone podcast, and so a lot of times we talk about when things become undone, when things come, everything just unravels for you. Did you have a moment in which you just sat with yourself and said, okay, I have to find a way out of this. I know that this isn't where it ends and begins with me. I have to find a way out. Is there a moment in which you sat with yourself? I know you talked about prayer that you had, and you said, I have to get out. What am I going to do to get out?
I've had those moments, but I really sat with myself when I became pregnant by my trafficker. I have my son now. When I got pregnant and realized, okay, look, you're about to be a mother. This is what you're in. Do you want your child to see you like this? Or the father? And I was like, no. So I had a long moment where I just prayed, cried, weighed out my options. Okay, if I do this, how would it turn out? If I didn't do this, how would it turn out? It was a lot of just meditating and praying and trying to figure out what to do. And then I started to realize, hey, you're just gonna have to wait, have a little patience. I know it's hard. I know it's like, okay, people ask like, why don't y'all just leave? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we have to be, I hate to say it, but we have to be sneaky about it. Our timing has to be right. We have to be at the right location. If we are out in California and we're from Houston, how are we gonna get away in Cali? We don't know nobody down there, no transportation. What we gonna do?
Right. Wow. And that brings me to my next question, because people often do ask, well, did you try to escape? And why don't, people that are being trafficked, why don't they try to get out? Did you ever try to escape on your own?
A couple times. And one time I did end up with my family. And my trafficker knew where my family lived. Of course, in the beginning, we were supposed to be in this beautiful relationship. I took my trafficker to meet my family and everything. They knew where they lived. So when I left the first time, my trafficker parked outside my family's house, was blowing my phone up with callous messages, rude, brutal, threatening me, threatening my family. It was just so much. At that time, I was really, 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 really scared because I had never experienced something like that.
Right.
So I was like, okay, do you want them to come in here and shoot your whole family up, or are you finna go? So I went on and went back to my trafficker. The second time, I got away. The second time, I had to make a sacrifice and leaving my son. I do have him now. He's with me here.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord. But I had to make the sacrifice of leaving my son and another friend of mine that was in the game. I'm praying for her, but at that time, it was the right timing, the right location, and when I got my escape, HPD was there and my family was there for me.
Walk us through then that escape. What was the day like? How did this, walk us through that? Like, was it a weekend? Was it during the week? How were you feeling? And how did you know, like, okay, did you know that you would get out this time? Walk us through that day.
I did not know. I did not know I was going to get out that day. It was so crazy because it was a week of just brutal beatings because I did try to leave, but he ended up finding me and trapped me and this other girl in the house and was abusing me and her. He had one of his family members bring my son to hold him as a, what do you call it, decoy to keep me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, this is terrible. It was just a horrible week of beatings, and it was a point where my kid was hungry and my trafficker was like, someone needs to go get my child some food. I was like, I'm the mama.
Right. Right.
I'm the mama. I'll be back. I ain't gonna leave my kid. You know, he trusted that, of course, and dipped.
What?
Yeah.
And where did you go? Where did you go?
I went to a store next door to where we were living, to a grocery store, and I found one of the workers that were in the aisles, and I was like, hey, I need some help. I'm not trying to be loud, because one of his family members worked in the store. So
wow.
This was a sick situation. It was very sick. But I asked the sales associate for help. They called their manager. The manager took me back quietly and called HPD and my family, and they were there in a hot second. And that was the end of it. They got my son back, tried to help the other girl, but she was not ready for her exit. So, yeah.
Did he ever try to contact you back after you left?
Yeah, still to this day.
Are you serious, Dasia?
Yeah.
Wow. What did he think about you being on like a national TV show talking about the story? I mean, obviously you're not going to mention his name, but what did he think about you being up there on TV sharing that?
Well, at first he did go on YouTube anonymous under a different username and post a lot of rude comments. And then after that, he cleaned it up and inboxed me on the social media account, a lot of begging, and I'm sorry, love you, want to see my child.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So how does that work with the child? Does he get to see his son, or
he has an option? He has an option too. Through the legal system, it's his choice.
Wow. Did you ever, you've escaped, you got out, this is your second time, you're free now, you have your son. In your freedom, did you ever consider or miss, even though it was a toxic situation, and we're being real, this is transparent, right? Did you ever feel like you missed that and wanted to go back?
I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of times I do. Like I tell my therapist, when you're coming to, like right now we're in COVID. I lost my job. I didn't have a job for a minute. I was like, okay. When I was in the game, I was making bread. So I was thinking, But I realized, okay, no, you're better than that. I weigh my options. If you go back, you could possibly get killed because you're not already left. That's kind of like rules to the game. It's like joining the game once you're in, you're in. So I was like, no. Or stay out here, keep, being free, help other people find their freedom and their peace and their joy. And
Definitely.
That seems like a better plan. So a lot of times that happens, I have a friend now, but I was lonely for a second. I didn't have any friends to talk to. And now I do have a good friend. And, at that time I was like, okay, look, I want a man, of course, but no. I was thinking, that's not love. Love doesn't hurt you like that. Nah, no. I know it's some tough love out there, but that's not even tough love. That's deep hate.
Right, definitely. And so you said you still have friends that are in the situation. Do you keep in touch with them? Do you talk to them at all?
At first I did, but the trafficker takes control of all of those. Some of them are not in the game anymore, and I still communicate with them. They're doing awesome with their.
That's good. That's good. Dasia, wow. I just can't. That's why I say when I saw you telling the story and now learning even more about it, it just blows my mind that you are sitting here telling the story. You're so strong to go through that, escape that, and now be an inspiration to other people. You know what I mean? What advice would you share with victims or people like your friends that are still in situations where they're being trafficked? What advice would you share with them on how to move forward and that you can have a life outside of that life? What advice would you share?
I would literally share to be yourself. You know who you are, to stay strong, to find your inner strength. We are all strong, beautiful queens, and you men that are being trafficked, you're beautiful kings as well, handsome kings, I'm sorry. And I was looking at this beautiful quote Maya Angelou wrote. It say, you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. And
all right, Dasia, that's good, Maya Angelou. Yes, that's good. That is good.
Yes, so those are my encouraging words to you out there, just to stand strong, find your worth, know who you are, and find your peace. Because I'm all about love, peace, freedom, joy, all of that.
Yes, your mom was pivotal in helping you to get out of that situation. I watched her strength as well on the Tamron Hall Show. Why is it so important for families to support? Because you said that this was a normal relationship, so you had brought him home. Your family knew him, but then it turned into what it became. Why is it so important for families to stay and stick with the victims through the course as they are in the situation, as they are reaching out for help, or even if they decline help? Why should families stick in and support the victims of human trafficking?
Because at the end of the day, no matter how much we sugarcoat it to you guys, we really do need your love. Like, we really do need your care and your support, and we need you, period. Because we're out here working hard. I know we smiling like everything's fun and we're traveling and it looks like a beautiful, luxurious life, but we're really like scared. Some of us are scared, angry, but we really need just mainly the love and support. We don't want to ever feel like there's a burnt bridge, like we can never come home, because that's what's going to keep us in there. One girl asked me on my outreach, we did outreach one day with my organization, and one girl asked me, how did your mom feel about you being in the game, and how did she react to you when you came out? And I was like, of course my mom didn't understand it, but she never once judged me. She never once shunned me. She never once like, I told you. She never did that. My mother accepted me. She loved on me, and that was it.
Wow.
And she was like, okay. And I haven't even seen the girl out here since then. I pray that she's back with family. But yeah, that's the reason why.
Wow. And Dasia, I want to ask you before I go into my next question, because I know you speak about it being like luxurious and work. And so let me ask you, some of the people that we see on Instagram, like some of the Instagram models, and they look amazing and they look fabulous. Is there a specific type of human trafficking victim, or would you not even be able to tell that somebody that we may be following on social media that's our favorite influencer, that they may be in a situation where they're in human trafficking?
You won't be able to physically tell unless somebody's obviously, showing bruises and things like that on some of their clips or stuff like that. But you won't be able to tell who's being trafficked, because being trafficked has no name, color, age, none of that. It's anybody is at risk of being trafficked, depending on your mindset or if it's a forced situation. But a lot of times terms are used, and I can share them with you so that you can post it on social media. Terms that are used that you can hashtag, you can see and tell if someone is in that world. I know the world terms. I got you.
What are the terms, Dasia? Tell us. Girl.
You have like 10 toes down. That means you're in the game.
What?
Daddy, wifey, things like that. Wifey that's in the free world too, because like people use that in a relationship. But lots of money signs, all about their paper. You're probably selling drugs or selling something else. It's a lot of different things. I can send you a list over.
Yes, please. That's interesting. Is it still considered human trafficking even if the victim consents?
Yeah, but no, because human trafficking is when you're being trafficked by someone else. Now, voluntarily doing it, that's sex trafficking. You're trafficking yourself. Like prostitution.
Got you. Okay.
That's why I don't like that word for everyone, because a lot of girls are victims, and a lot of them die in the game. It was just a news article about a girl that got murdered by her trafficker, and she was just thrown up on the news as a prostitute. Now, there's a difference between being trafficked and voluntarily, which is prostitution.
Okay. Because that's what people will say, like in terms of even the escape. Well, why won't they just leave? Or why, if they said they want to do it and if they want to be there, then it's not really human trafficking. So I was wondering, if it's still considered, even if the victim consents to it. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not in that situation or haven't been, but I would say that it is, right? Because if you consented to the relationship at first, right? Because
I was just thinking about some of the Epstein story. I don't know if you've seen the Epstein story, but a lot of those girls, I think they agreed to it, but things changed, which became trafficking. So it's kind of all of the same. It's all the same. I think it's just all human trafficking.
Gotcha. Was your trafficker ever held accountable in the court of law for, like, not even just your case, but the other victims that were there or that are still there? Was he ever held accountable for his actions?
Mine, no. Others, I don't know.
Okay. Because human trafficking is often underreported. Yeah. Why don't victims report the crimes? Did you ever report it at all when you were being trafficked?
I can't say.
Okay. No, that's we can move right on along. Trust me. What can people do if they have been trafficked, or if they know someone in a situation now? What can they do? Or, let's say I know somebody that may, what you're telling me sounds like it could be a situation where they're being trafficked. What could I do to help them? Or what resources could I provide? Somebody that's not very, well versed in it, but I know a little bit about it. What could I do as a friend or as a,
You said what I said. All you can do is build a relationship and be a friend. Because I learned in my outreach, you can't go out there and just, hey, I want to help you. You want to come home. It's none of that. It's none of that.
Okay.
You have to literally build a relationship and be a friend. And when they're ready to open up to you, that's when you go the route of hey, okay, I'm ready. Here are the resources for you to heal, inner healing, medical resources, financial stuff like that. But until you get to that point, it's just all about building relationship. Of course, speaking to them positive. Of course, throwing little signs out there of how they can be their own person and be independent. You know, of course, you're gonna do those things, but really, it's mainly just building relationship and being their best friend. Because the best friend gonna tell you what everything.
That's good, Dage. That's really good. Talk to us about, you've spoken about your therapist. I want to know how that journey began with you in therapy and how has that helped you to manage the trauma that you endured in that situation?
I love my therapist. She's awesome. My therapist is really, she helped me become aware of what what traumatizes me, the triggers, the things that trigger me. Because of course, I feel like when I got out of the game, I healed. I feel like I healed. But I didn't realize that some things were triggering me, like little moments I get stressed in life or things like that. It's because I'm remembering little things from the game that's triggering me, that's making me angry, making me stressed, and things like that. She really taught me that I'm way stronger than what I thought I was. You know what I'm saying? And, think about it, we are all stronger than what we think we are at the time. We just have to put our minds to being stronger. Yeah, but she just helped me become aware of who I am for real, legitly. Help me go out there and minister to other women and know who they are and build relationships with them. She teaches me how to not re-trigger nobody else, because that's one big thing you have to learn. If you want to be in this world and minister and help, you have to learn how to manage your emotions and not re-trigger anybody else.
That's good. Not trigger anybody. Manage your emotions and not trigger anybody. Now that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine. I've had trauma. Everybody has some type of trauma that they've dealt with. And like your therapist said, managing your own emotions so that you aren't staring up in somebody else, their own traumas. I think that that's really important. You spoke about your organization, and I follow you on Instagram, and I've been seeing you, and I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. I'm just so proud of you, and I can't wait to see how God just uses you to be a beacon for other women. I just know that He's going to do some things through you. He's already doing it. Talk to us about your nonprofit organization and how you're on the streets and helping other women, get help. And like you said, not telling them what to do, but just being there to be a friend and a resource for them. Talk to us about your organization.
Well, our organization is called the Entity Haven, and I named it that so it would be a safe place, a place where victims of that world can trust, feel comfortable and loved. Our whole thing is to support women in being. We're not just on women. We're not religious based. None of that. We're love based community here. Our journey is to help heal broken women and build better men, because we know it's just not women out there, and we feel like even though the traffickers are bad, we can help them be better men and get out of that.
I like that.
Something different. We're not shunning them all. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to help. We're just trying to get this together, especially in our Black community, because if you actually look at the numbers, our Black community is the main race in it. It's mainly Black traffickers, mainly Black victims. And I hate to say it, but the Black traffickers are trafficking Black victims. We're doing it to each other, enslaving each other. And that's our thing, is to end this thing and to, build better men. Right now we're doing outreach here in Houston, Texas. We're going out to major strolls where human trafficking is, where you're walking at, and we're providing them with toiletries, such as soaps, deodorants, condoms, masks, hand sanitizer, because they need to be safe too. We want masks, we want to be safe, they want to be safe too.
Right.
Yes, that's what we're doing right now. We're collaborating with other major organizations such as Elijah Biden, Anita Marie organization, the SWAT ministry, so that we can all get this thing out of the way. I'm over this already. I'm over it. and it's COVID-19 and it's still going on, like, I'm done. So that's what we're doing here at the Entity Haven. We're just providing victims of human trafficking with everything they need to survive out there on the streets, and to make sure that they, are good. We just want to build a good relationship with them when we're out there. We're loving on them. We're getting to know them, and they're getting to know us. We've been out there since last year, and I can tell you, girl, when they first met us, they were like not talking to us. But when they see you out there consistently, being willing to be out there with them, especially during the winter time, they're going to be willing to open up to you. We've been blessing so many and been hearing so many different stories. It's amazing.
Wow, that is beautiful. And I believe that that's what you are supposed to do, right? We're supposed to share what we went through and be able to help somebody else get through and navigate the same thing that we were able to overcome. So I love that. You spoke about COVID-19, Dej, with an increase in job loss and lockdowns. And still, 2020 was the beginning of it all, but we're still in it. I'm here in California and we're still on the lockdown. Research suggests that human trafficking is on the rise due to COVID-19. What can people do during this time to protect their loved ones and themselves from being, the risk of being trafficked?
Stay in your house. Everybody want to go party and stuff. That's cool. That's cool. Nobody's saying don't do any of that, but I think it's cool to party at home too with your family. Even if you're a person that is just you at home, find some time to spend some happy time with yourself. Get some time, build a relationship with yourself. Love on yourself. Go do your haircut. Get a haircut, a hairdo somewhere at home. Everybody want to go out. Stay in the house. Do fun things together. I don't know. Delete your dating site and try to, I don't know, get your cousin to introduce you to their friend or something. I don't know.
Right. Some self-care. Something.
That's the thing. Everybody just focus on themselves right now and just stay safe. If you want to find some online dating, that's fine too. Just be careful of who you're talking to. If they want to meet you the same day out for, I think that's too good to be true and too early. Get to know the person before you meet them in person, all of that. Make sure they got their COVID test or their vaccine before they come and meet you.
Hello. And should they bring somebody with them? Should people be bringing a partner with them, or should they share their location with them if they're meeting somebody from this?
If you're gonna meet somebody, if you're gonna meet somebody, make sure you leave your location with a family or a friend. Let a family friend know where you gonna go. If you like my mama get a little quick picture of their license plate and send it over.
I tell you, mama be on it, okay? Mama be on it. Yes, I love it. I love it. Where can people go to educate themselves on human trafficking? What sites are out there or resources that people can go who are unfamiliar with it and are unsure of what it even is about? Where can they go to educate themselves?
Well, you go to my website for one.
Yes.
www.theentityhaven.com. We have some trafficking awareness things on there, some tips, some facts, some myths. I have an awareness video on there as well. YouTube does a lot of sharing, awareness. Polaris is an amazing organization, Polaris. You can look them up on Google. I learned a lot from them on the other side of the table. And yes, you can find a lot of tips, terms, all of that stuff on Polaris site. I love them.
Okay, and I'll be sure to include the information that you just shared. I'll be sure to include that under this interview. What's next for you, Miss Dasia? What's next?
Next is outreach. We're doing another outreach here in Houston, Texas, January the 30th. I can't give the location, of course, because people will be listening in, and we like to keep everyone safe, even our friends out there on the block. That is something that we're doing, and we're working on our, we're working on so much. Oh, we're working on a documentary. We haven't named it yet, but it'll be me and a few other women sharing their stories. One of my sisters have a story that they're sharing. They're not a survivor of trafficking, but their sister is a survivor of trafficking, and they have an amazing story. So that's something that we're working on to spread some more awareness and share some testimonies.
We definitely need the documentary. What do you hope your story does for someone in a similar situation?
Touch them in the mighty way, Lord. For real. No, for real. Because a lot of people watch movies and know about what human trafficking is, but they don't take it serious. You know, a lot of people don't understand it and don't want to learn about it. I want people to hear my story, know that this is something real, know that you can be at risk. Everybody feels like, oh, they not at risk of it. Yes, you are. Everybody's at risk. So learn from me. I'm trying to give you some help. You know, if I'm giving you someone else who can share some information with you, learn from them too, because we're just trying to keep you safe so you don't run into the same situation, or your children, because children are at a bigger risk. The ages are getting younger nowadays. I don't know why.
Wow.
Yeah, they go into like 11 now, sis.
That's insane. That's a whole other, that's Dasia. You gave us you broke it down for us today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story and being vulnerable and truthful and transparent. And hopefully you helped me, you educated me. So I hope the people that will watch this and listen to this will be able to leave with some gems as well. You want to play a game really quick before you go?
Yes, because I was nervous. Get some of that nerve off me.
Yeah, you didn't have to be nervous. Okay,
I'm always nervous.
But you did so good. So you're strong. That little body of yours is just so mighty and strong. I love it. So it's a rapid fire and it's done in 60 seconds. So what have you learned about yourself since leaving that situation?
I'm a stronger person than I thought I was.
You are. What are you binge watching on TV?
Oh my God. I just finished watching Into the Badlands.
Oh, where is that at? What?
Netflix.
Okay. Into the Badlands?
Into the Badlands.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Check it out. What are you listening to on repeat? What song has you want to do the TikTok dance?
My God, girl. I don't even listen to music like that. Oh, I tell Alexa to play New Edition, If This Isn't Love.
New Edition too. I love Can You Stand the Rain, my favorite New Edition song. Girl, that's my favorite. I love New Edition. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself as this amazing mother that has helped free so many women and men that they have started their own businesses and organizations. And all I'm doing is teaching them. Like I'm helping and just sit back watching other people progress and be successful in life.
What would people be surprised to learn about you?
I'm a nerd. I like playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
You're a nerd? I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
My family are like I'm so different from my family, and it's like they're like, oh my gosh, she's so nerdy. But I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I like doing things on the computer. All of the graphic design and stuff like that.
Favorite food?
Chinese food, orange chicken.
Oh, love. Who inspires you?
I have a few inspirations, but who inspires me the most is, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it, is my boy T.I. because he is very intelligent. He's from the hood. He did this stuff, you know. And he look at where he's at now. He's an intelligent Black man. He can speak some vocab words that you gotta go look up in the dictionary. He gonna make you think, girl.
You inspire us, Dasia. You've made us think, and you are an intelligent Black woman who is doing beautiful and incredible things. And I'm so incredibly proud of you. And don't stop. Continue to be a beacon of light for people out there because we need it. Thank you so much, Dasia, for joining us today.
Thank you, sis, for having me.
Yes, yes. So this interview will be live and I'll share it with you when it goes live. But thank you so much. I'm so inspired by your story.
Thank you, sister.